For the first time in quite a while, actually, we're going to get a point of view from Formal in that main AR position. So we've been on board with Scum and Envoy, and we've looked at a couple different point of views from what SMGs are doing. I did do a dual AR point of view when I did Formal and Crim 6 both, but I just wanted to, especially on a small map like this, I wanted to just take a second, step back, really see what ARs are doing on this map, just because it's probably a little bit different, right? And whatever decisions Formal makes, they're pretty consequential, because he's normally, of course, Dashy would be playing that role also, but he's normally going to be that person that's rotating, trying to grab spawns, trying to hold down lanes that the enemy team might be pushing through, and all of that. So as we get into this one, also, one thing you might notice about Formal here is that a lot of times when they're playing Hardpoint, he's the guy that ends up getting the most amount of points inside the hill. And a lot of it is just because, especially on a small map like this, normally when you have a big map, you'll have people that are rotating out, trying to gain map position. When you have a small map like this, he's normally that player that's kind of left over. Like, you kind of almost just saw it right there, where he wasn't quite inside the hard point, but he realized that CLAYSTER had spawned out, so he was just kind of holding over towards P1 and waiting for the push from the opposite side of the map. Also, we haven't mentioned this yet, but if you don't realize by now, which we just kind of talked about it, but they are playing the New York Subliners in this one. So it's also been, I think, the very first Scrim video that I uploaded this year was between these two teams, and I haven't seen them play yet. So it's been quite a while, but we got Clay, we got Zuma, we got Mac, and the fourth that's filling in. There's nothing really official there yet, but they're playing with Asim right now. Again, they have signed Hydra, but I'm actually not up to date on what's going on with the situation with Hydra. I don't know if he's just not over in the States, or I'm totally clueless on that scenario. So if you guys know what that is, put it down in the comments below. But so far, to go ahead and just get into the actual breakdown here, we are inside of P3. OpTic's done a pretty nice job of building a 30-point lead, considering they didn't get a ton of points inside of P1, and they got bad spawns. So as it flipped to P2, P2's on the right-hand side of the map, they spawn on the left-hand side of the map, and I also like what they're doing right here. So P3 and P4 are over here on the left-hand side of the map. So they've done a great job so far in this first set of rotations of being able to rotate from P1 to P2 to P3 and making sure that they're gaining spawns for each of those, just because I realize that some of us might be visual learners, and this is just what I like to do on my channel. I do want to take just a second to break down exactly what we've seen there. So as I go ahead for the first time and bring up our mini map of Hardpoint on Crossroads, again, they got this initial left-hand spawn when they were inside of P1. So they did a nice job of, we saw Formal push through over towards P1 towards the end. He hit this head glitch, and then he was able to kill Clay from behind. And then after he got that Clay, after he got that kill, we watched them spawn all the way on the right-hand side. He flanked around the right-hand side, and they were able to get spawns for P2. So inside of P2, he was here. They were getting these spawns, and for a moment, he was watching this bottom side of the map push, which is a good lane for ARs to watch, right? If you're getting this spawn, you don't necessarily want an AR unless you have to up here watching the push across bridge, just because it's so congested. You're probably going to lose that gun battle to an AK-74U. So I like him being down towards the bottom of the map. Of course, he could also be on one of these head glitches watching the push through P1, but if he's out in the lanes, that's a great spot for him. After that, as it rotated, they were able to flank behind P3. Whoops, they were able to hang over here behind P3. And again, I liked at the beginning of this, what Formal did is he was able to push over towards the top side of the map and watch the push towards or through P1. Because essentially, eventually, as this is going to pop towards P4, they're going to be getting this spawn. And what you want to watch is you have to watch the push from the top side of the map, because if you are New York, you have two options, right? Let's just say you're this isn't a spawn, but let's just say you're in the middle of the map or you're coming off of trying to push towards P3. You have two options here. If you push down towards the bottom of the map for any of these jump ups that are over here and you're able to get those kills, what's going to happen is that's going to take OpTic. It's going to spawn them over here on the top left-hand side of the map. They'll still have the height advantage. They'll still be able to get in towards P4. You're not really achieving much. On the flip side of that, if you're able to push over towards the top-hand side of the map and get behind boxes like this, if you can get a kill or two in these lanes right here, then what that's going to do is that's going to close off this back spawn. OpTic's no longer going to get this spawn right here. So you're able to get a kill or two, you push forward back behind the hill, and if that happens, that's going to take Chicago. That's going to spawn them over here down towards ice, and now they have to hit the jump up. So as it's rotating towards P4, that's the biggest thing to watch for as we hop back into this. So right now, there are 6 seconds left. And just judging by the mini-map that's in the top left-hand corner, I can see that, I think that might have been Envoy. He actually went down on the top side of the map. Actually, it might have been Scum. I don't know who it was, but somebody went down over on the left-hand side of the map. And for OpTic, that's not great, right? You want to continue to push that out. So right there, CLAYSTER gets a 2-piece, and this is exactly what we were just saying. So CLAYSTER gets a 2-piece, and you can see, just judging off the mini-map, I know this is kind of tough to see, but if you look up here where Formal's looking, you'll see that there are no more blue arrows, right? So what happened, this is the exact same scenario that we just talked about. It took the rest of OpTic, and it spawned them down here, so over to the right underneath the jump up, and now Formal has to watch the push through the top. So it's exactly what we talked about, but Formal's doing a great job. He killed Zuma, got a kill on Mac. He also got one other before that played out, and he's just done a nice job of not only getting kills, but staying inside the hard point. So that right there is sometimes why I like to key in on Formal, because there are only so many players in the CDL that have the ability to do what he just did. And I want to make sure we're not overlooking the importance of a play like that, right? He's sitting inside the P4 hardpoint. His SMGs and his flex are pushed up towards P3 over towards Skybridge. He's the only person left. So if he goes down, he's going to spawn over towards ice, and the rest of those 40 seconds or so are going to end up going to New York. Let's think about that. 40 seconds are just because he made those plays. If he doesn't make those plays, those 40 seconds go to New York. That's an 80-point swing, right? That's 40 points that Chicago's not getting. That's 40 points that New York is getting. That's an 80-point swing. So it's just sometimes there are just players that make really big plays, and that's what we got out of him right there. And now it's over towards P1. Not only does OpTic have control of P1, but you can see Formal's already rotated here, right? When we brought up the diagram there, we said for P2, you want to have these spawns, which are exactly where he's at right now. And that's the case. Nice shots there out of Clay with the Krieg. Let's see where they spawn, and now they spawn out. So if P2 gets contested at all, one team's going to spawn top P1 or top P3. The other team's going to spawn by P4. And that's what we're seeing right here, right? It's contested area inside the hard point, so it's not going to give anybody those back spawns. So OpTic spawning towards the bottom of the map. New York is spawning towards the top of the map. But greatest thing that I like about scrims is that we can actually listen in and hear exactly what they're talking about. So in that regards, I'm still going to check back in and go through the most important things that we're watching and those game-changing plays. But for right now, let's go ahead. Let's listen into the Chicago team comms and hear exactly what they're talking about in the second set of rotations as we rotate from P2 over to P3.
Clay's going to help him. Clay's looking over him.
Clay looking over
him. Cat room Mac weak. Cat room Mac and Clay's left. Last two. Last back left. Clay. I have initial, or I don't know. My fault. He's back left. He's back left.
In P3.
On
time. Bad.
Good job.
Nice. Let's be left again.
Yo, I'm getting cat room. Pick up left. Hang on.
My bad. He's challenging you.
I have help. He's on the box. Mac, weak back left, guys. Yeah. Cross. I have cat. Oh, you have cat.
One shot. I had no bullets. One shot.
Cat room in front. One shot front. Zuma. One shot front hill. Zuma.
We flipped.
God damn it, man.
Look, hold cat. I'm holding cat.
Nice, shoot up. I'm coming across cat.
In the back, bro.
Nice,
I got one. No, back door.
I I have cat door. I have cat door. I have cat door.
You went out back right, Clay. One shot.
I have cat door.
You're good. Pick up back right.
Cat door weak. Zuma. Back dead. One more Zuma. One deep ace him. On the box ace him.
Behind us probably.
Zuma back door dead.
Yeah, we can go now. We can go.
Yeah, go through. Go.
Deep left.
On the box ace him. Box ace him.
The guy flipped behind us. P1.
Yeah, box ace him.
Also, another thing that I just kind of noticed, and you guys might have to fill me in on this as well, but I haven't seen him use them. But Formal has kill streaks on the right-hand side. I don't know if that's just left over from when they were playing pubs, but last time I checked, they weren't using streaks. So I don't know if either he just has those on and he forgot to take them off, or if they're actually including them. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I've noticed is that both Dashy and Formal are both using the AK. So that's a little bit different because you see, like right there, Mac just got a kill on Formal and Mac is using the Krig. So it seems like there's a little bit of fluidity in terms of which guns, both the ARs, and you see right there, CLAYSTER also got a kill with the Krig. So about a week ago, the first time we broke down a scrim between these two teams, CLAYSTER was like the biggest proponent for using the AK. And now it seems like both of them have switched, so New York is using the Krig, and Chicago's using the AK from the AR position. Very interesting. Let's go ahead. Let's listen back in.
I'm going to get cat, I guess.
I have cat right now. I have cat.
You have cat?
He's already across.
I'll watch left straight. Hang on.
I have all a tank room, guys.
Bruce, I'm helping you right. I'm shooting under the tank.
I don't see shit.
I don't one shot.
Yeah, bottom mid. The other one, cat room.
Middle.
Cat room? Cat, Max.
Cat room.
Wait, Zuma's might push through. Zuma might push through.
We flipped.
And back cat.
Yeah, see, we can't play that push right there.
Yo, P4.
I mean, we just had to watch bottom.
Asim dead. Asim one shot in P3 and P3 one shot.
Stop shooting there. That's a tough
Zuma
one.
cat, he pushed.
Cat?
Yo, Asim was in there.
Cat
Asim was in P3, guys. I don't know where he went.
I killed
Nice.
him.
Two.
Kill the kid in the middle. Kill the kid in the
Hey,
middle.
cat.
Flashing it, hang on.
No, back right and on time.
Nade out or nade
Bottom
out.
right on time.
You want to contest this?
I have a trophy.
I'm gonna go far right.
Just to kind of make sure that we're covering all of our bases here, that second set of rotations was really good for New York. They did a nice job in P2. As it went towards P3, Chicago had that initial setup. They weren't able to finish it, so New York got the majority of the time inside of P3, and then New York was able to keep those spawns and get the time inside of P4. Now we're back into the third set of rotations. We'll see what happens, but first set went towards Chicago, second set went towards New York. Let's see how this finishes.
Ice the middle, Max, dead.
He's out already, Matt.
Asim hurt on you? Top tank? Dead?
Nope.
Good job, Matt.
Yo, what's in front
Single
of
line. They're still back right on me. They're still back right on me, guys.
Yeah, they spawn back right again.
Bottom mid, Zuma, dead.
I'm giving you up, Matt, just so to hold row.
I'm dead, I'm dead as fuck.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
He's
fine.
flashed.
3 at old. I'm trying to spawn fast. They're hitting right, they're hitting to right. I flipped.
Two right.
Play my life here, dude.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good play, Brandon. Good play.
Good play. I'm going top grades, hang on.
Bottom mid hurt.
Nice, Brandon, I can help you.
Bottom mid dead.
Nice, two.
Hill, Ace dead.
Nice, three.
One's in the back, one's in the back, I think.
In the back, Clay, now
Dead,
weak.
dead,
Nice.
Nice.
Good job, I'm looking left, good job, Brandon. Yo, two left from me, guys. Three left from me, three left.
I have all of P1.
Two more left, one's missing.
We could crates.
Any of the crate's
I have
peeking?
cat. P1's open.
More left.
I will say that I'm going to be coming out with a series with things that I would change about these maps, and that's one thing right there. I don't necessarily love the way that spawn worked. Again, probably about sometime next week I'll look at all the maps. I don't love what happened right there as it went towards P2 and New York was pushing towards the top side of the map. But we get a 250 to 171 victory. Formal ended up getting 39-30 for his score, basically because of the streak that he went on earlier, but he goes 29-19 with 14 objective kills and was only 7 seconds away from leading his team with time in the hill. So that's just the type of player that you get from Formal. We could see as it went from one side of the map to the other, one hill to the next hill, how influential he was in locking down spawns and rotating. And if he needed to, like towards the end of that last P1, he would hop in and get the rest of the time. So just want to make sure that we're covering SMGs. We're also covering the roles that ARs play so that we know exactly what's happening as this season moves along. So if you guys are new around here, you enjoy breakdowns like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is what I do every single day of the CDL 2021 season. I'm going to be taking footage, breaking it down. When tournaments come along, I'll be making my predictions and who I think is going to win and stuff like that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave a like as always, as it helps out the channel. And with that, guys, thank you so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.